Yeah, I want to speak to my fellow Zimbabweans. Zimbabweans. If you're not a Zimbabwean, I'm not talking to you. I want to tell you that something, Zimbabweans. There is nobody, absolutely no one in the whole earth who is interested in the upliftment and prosperity of Zimbabwe besides the Zimbabweans only. Anybody else who comes in as a foreign investor, they're in it so that they can get a reward, right? They want a return. They don't really care about Zimbabwe succeeding or not. If Zimbabwe doesn't succeed, their capital can go to Zambia. It can go to China, it can go to Asia, it can go to India, it can go anywhere. Their interest is in making a profit. But the only people that are interested in a working Zimbabwe is only Zimbabweans. And the only people that are going to make a Zimbabwe work is Zimbabweans, not foreigners. Stop looking at foreigners as if they are interested in making your country work. They are only interested to your country working to the extent to which they can maximize their profitability, because that is what capitalism is. Therefore, now, I want to say to us Zimbabweans, as we have these political wrangles, okay, we must underline what is underneath. What is underneath is actually an economic battle. But however, if you Zimbabweans carry on with this economic battle amongst yourself and letting foreigners in to destabilize your talk, know very well that the foreigners have got no interest except to destroy you. And if they're not destroying you, if they're building you, they're only building you up to the point where they extract as much profit as they can. Once they're done, they destroy you. They're not interested in you becoming bigger than them. Because if Zimbabwe succeeds, other countries are jealous that Zimbabwe will be better than them. South Africa will be jealous that Zimbabwe will be better than them. You think Ramaphosa wants Zimbabwe to become better? He would think that we are going to be better than them. Do you think that the ANC will want any political goodness in Zimbabwe? Because they will think that South Africans will want to remove the ANC and do whatever is happening in Zimbabwe. Do you understand? There is nobody, there's no appetite in SADC for Zimbabwe to be better, because most of the corrupt politicians in South Africa around SADC are interested in a weak Zimbabwe, because that is how they extract our minerals on cents on the dollar, because of their corrupt their corrupt links within Zimbabwe. And our Zimbabwean military is the weak point here. Those are the people that I must talk to. Our Zimbabwean military is so weak. They think it's strength. It is not strength to come against your people. By the way, Zimbabwean military, let me tell you something. Your people, okay, and the abilities of your people, including me, we are your weapons. I am your weapon, Zimbabwean military, that you can use to become a powerful military around the world. Countries are not political parties. Let me tell you something. It's not even democracy. Countries are not their democracy. Countries are their military. Every country is made up of its military. Zimbabwe is made up of its military. There's no way about it. There's nothing like. I always bash Chiwenga here in the military sometimes, because Pampoa sometimes. But at the end of the day, Chiwenga is our father. The military is our military. It's our Zimbabwean military. We can argue with each other. We can tell each other off. But that's part of life. That's part of life. Okay. If I say that Mnangagwa is useless or Atwarat is useless, it's just part of discussion. That's part of this existence, living together. But when all is circled, when all comes, it all boils down to this thing. That the only people who are interested in building Zimbabwe is only Zimbabweans. And a country is made up of its military. And the Zimbabwean military must begin to realize that its enemies actually is not Zimbabweans. The enemy of the Zimbabwean military is the South African military, it's the Mozambique military, it's the SADC, whoever military, it's the American military, it's the British military, it's the Chinese military, it's the Russian military, it's every other military in the world. That's who we are competing with, Zimbabwean military. So I don't know whether you do not know or you don't understand this thing. Weakness is when you take your own citizens and destroy them. That's how other militaries will destroy you. That's how America keeps its American hegemony. Do you know how? Because it keeps other militaries around the world weak and foolish. It's stupid, actually. Other militaries around the world, they become stupid and fight their own people. But the American military does not fight its own people. Instead, the American military builds institutions, puts people in these institutions of excellence so that they can succeed technologically, because they allow their universities, to succeed. They allow Facebook and Google to succeed so that they can use Google, just like they're using Google right now to suppress me, because it's their American Google. But if it was our Google in Zimbabwe, we will do as we please. You see, but then the Zimbabwean military is so foolish. I'm sorry to say this, Zimbabwean military. Your foolishness is in this thing. When you have got Zimbabweans that are talented in different things, technocrats in this and that, you think that suppressing them so that we can have access to cheers or diamonds is the greatest thing that we have because we've got guns. That's just foolishness. You are supposed, or Zimbabwe military, to set Zimbabweans free. What do I mean? By letting them express whatever talent they are. And that talent, Mr. Chiwenga, because I know that Mr. Chiwenga is the one who's the head of the military anyway. They can call him vice president, but I will know the story. The person who was leading the Zimbabwe military is Chiwenga, finish and clear. Okay, let's just note that. Don't want to beat the bush. Alright. So, Mr. Chiwenga, is the thing. Your biggest weapon is not the guns. The world is almost peaceful these days. Your biggest weapon, Mr. Chiwenga, is your people. It's me and other Zimbabweans. Don't fight us. Engage us. Let us lead. Let us build infrastructure. Let us have roads. Let us have biotech, bioengineering in Zimbabwe. Let us lead the fourth industrial revolution, Mr. Chiwenga. When we're able to be, as Zimbabweans, to be successful in all of those industries, build strong financial institutions, Mr. Chiwenga, your military is going to be strong. You are going to be a strong man, Mr. Chiwenga. You don't become strong by suppressing us, but you become strong by uplifting us. Understand? By impressing us, we become your weapon. You see, let me show you, Mr. Chiwenga. Facebook, Google, WhatsApp, those are weapons for the US military. Maybe in case you didn't know, I'm sure you know, because you're a learned, you must be learned man. Do you know that YouTube is actually an American military weapon? The internet itself is an American military weapon. But imagine if the person who was going to invent the military was a Zimbabwean. ZANU-PF was going to crush that person and that doesn't, project goes nowhere. Then that guy goes to America and becomes an American. The US military goes like, nice idea. Let's make him a billionaire. Elon Musk is an African, but now he's a billionaire in America. Elon Musk is actually a weapon for the American military. Making those cars, they're American cars. Yeah. Talking about the chips now, they're having chip wars. American ideas. But when Zimbabweans have ideas, the Zimbabwean military is weak not to notice what are the weapons. Mr. Chiwenga, guns are not the weapons. Oh God, can you give me a job there in Harare? Somebody fucking give me a job in Harare. God, Jesus. Somebody give me a job. Can you give me a job so that I can become your advisor? You Zimbabwean military, if you give me a job to become your military, to become your advisor, you'll be the strongest military, not only in Africa, but in the whole world. You understand what I'm saying? In the whole world. Because military equipment is not drones and bombs. And no, it's your people. Yeah? The ability to grow. Your own economy. Your sophistication. You see how sophisticated the United States is? That's their strength. The US hegemony is not based on the strength of the US army. No. Americans, what army? What strength do we have in the army? Because they've got 2 legs, 2 feet, just like everybody else. Do you understand? There's nothing strange about the American army. The US hegemony is because of the institution that they have, the investment in their own people, in their own communities, making their communities strong and marvelous. Which the Zimbabwean army fails. Chiwenga was all over the place in the Philippines, looking for military equipment. Yet we are here to fight the war for you. What kind of language do you want to speak? What kind of language do you want us to speak? You see, when we hear of opposition, I will give another advice about opposition. When we hear of somebody opposing you, the natural instinct is to get him urai. No. That is your weapon. You must find out why are they opposing you and find what is your strategic positioning that you can take so that you can take it. Oh God, must I dish out everything to you guys for free? You see now, Google is very clever because Google they have realized that I'm very clever. They have noticed that. So now they no longer send my videos to different people because they know that I'm very dangerous. I might actually be the reason why Zimbabwe might rise. They are afraid of me. That is why my views are very few. Nobody really gets my things because they are afraid of me. And yet the people that God created me for, they are still slow. Murusaiban. Say Murusloso. I didn't tell Rachel because she wanted to banji. But knows what want to translate. Knows whatever 10 guesses when you have to tell Rashona, watch out how why. Good plan is. Do good is progress in Yika, success in Yika. It's about people coming together. And we don't even need my sanctions with that booty. Do you know that in any if I was the president of Zimbabwe, I would not even campaign for the sanctions to go. Why? To understand? In fact, the reason why you campaign for sanctions to go is because you have never invested in your own infrastructure, in your own institutions, in your own people. You rely on American things. So when Americans stop you from accessing their things, you cry because you don't have your own things. You can have your own things, ZANU-PF. If you actually invest in your people, they are going to make your things, and then your things are going to be fine. Zimbabwe will be fine. God was showing me the money. That's why. Do you know that Zimbabwe can be great without America? Do you know that you actually do not need American consent on anything, or British consent, or Asian consent, or South African consent? You yourselves as Zimbabweans, you can just sit down there and actually make your country work. You can become great. You alone as Zimbabweans. And then the Lord got me thinking. He says, you know what's that? The mindset of the Zimbabweans is that they need Britain, they need USA. Do you know why? They are going to the countries that have built things, build societies. When you build a society, it's not only infrastructure, because infrastructure is physical. There are other things that will build that are mental. Education is mental. There are other things that are spiritual. Okay, social things that we build. Okay, in the socio-economic, the social part is very important. Understand? Socially building your own people, you understand? Socially engineering them to be a robust community that is thriving. That, Mr. Chiwenga, is the army that you need. As and Army General, Mr. What's his name? The Army General, now I've forgotten his name. Zimbabwean Army General. And you guys in the CIO. That's why Jesus said that there's ineptitude there in the CIO. Because you are busy looking for anti-ZANU people instead of looking for how to actually use your Zimbabweans to become a strength, not a weakness. Hi. Why was I born in the wrong country? I think I should have been born in the United States of America, where they recognize that their people actually are their strength, not their weakness. But in Zimbabwe, we still not come to get it in our thick skulls. Bye bye.